As the sector's maximum dominant powers, the US and China have constantly been locked in fiasco for international effect. From financial supremacy to army, those countries were locked into conflicts for dominance that suggest no symptoms of slowing down. With tension growing in current years, the competition between USA and China have come to one of the maximum vital geopolitical troubles of all time. From changing wars and generation races to territorial disputes and ideological differences, the competition among those countries is shaping the destiny of the sector as we realize it. With a lot of stake, it's far vital to recognize the forces riding the competition and what the destiny can have additionally maintained for those international powers. Let us begin with financial competition between USA and China. We are going to check each component. The US-China competition is warm subject matter without the international of economics. Both international locations are vying for dominance in numerous industries from generations to production. But what does this competition suggest for the worldwide financial system and companies and clients within the US and China? One of the most important regions of competition between USA and China is generation. Both international locations have invested closely in studies and improvement and are competing to provide the subsequent era of modern technology. The competition is riding innovation and development in regions inclusive of synthetic intelligence, 5G network, and quantum computing. Let's start with the severe competition that is there in the production sector. Another place of competition is production. China has long been a chief participant in international production. With massive and professional hard work pressure and steady cognizance of export-oriented growth, the US, on the alternative hand, has been seeking carry production jobs returned to us through rules inclusive of price lists and tax incentives. The competition has had a chief effect on the worldwide financial system. As the United States and China compete for supremacy in the numerous industries, different international locations are affected. For example, international locations which have depended on exporting to China can also additionally discover themselves at drawback as China returns home production. International locations which have depended on exporting the US state can be harmed by price lists and different exchange barriers. So what does all these things suggest for companies and clients within the US and China? The companies, the United States competition may be a blessing and a curse. On the other hand, it can force innovation and efficiency. On the other hand, it can make it difficult for companies to compete and survive. Consumers, on the alternative hand, can additionally advantage from decreased charges and higher merchandise as groups attempt to live bare hand in their competitors. While it can carry a few benefits, it additionally can disrupt international change and harm companies and clients. It can be exciting peer how competition evolves within the coming years and the way it shapes the worldwide financial system. We also have the army competition between the America and China. The army competition within the USA and China has been one of the key regions of anxiety about their dating. Both international locations were engaged in a hands race, with each country growing its protection spending and modernizing its army competencies. The United States, with the biggest army finances within the international, has been investing closely in superior technology, inclusive of stealth fighters, drones, and missile protection systems. It has additionally been growing its army presence within the Asia-Pacific region with a focal point on keeping freedom of navigation and countering China's territorial claims within the South China Sea. China, on the alternative hand, has been hastily modernizing its army, such as growing competencies in regions inclusive of hypersonic weapons, synthetic intelligence, and cyber warfare. It has additionally been growing its army presence within the South China Sea and different disputed territories, main to tension with different nearby powers, inclusive of Japan and Philippines. In addition to territorial disputes, each international locations have competing army alliances within the region. The United States has lengthy status protection agreements within the international locations, inclusive of Japan, South Korea, and Australia. At the same time as China has been strengthening its army ties in international locations, including of Pakistan and North Korea. Cyber warfare and espionage have additionally come to the important issues within the US-China dating, with each international location accusing every different of wearing out cyber attacks and stealing touchy information. Overall army competition between the USA and China is complicated and multifaceted issue, with each international location making an investment closely in superior technology and growing its army presence within the region. It stays a massive supply of anxiety within the USA dating and key component of shaping the destiny of the Asia-Pacific region. Number 3, let's look at the diplomatic competition. The diplomatic competition between the USA and China has been every other key place of anxiety in their dating. Both international locations were accusing every different of undermining the worldwide order and violating human rights. The United States has been essential in China's coping with troubles inclusive of the COVID-19 pandemic, human rights abuses in Xinjiang and Tibet, and the territorial disputes within the South China Sea. It has additionally been pushing for democratic reforms and assisting pro-democracy moves in international locations inclusive of Hong Kong and Taiwan. China, on the alternative hand, has been essential to the United States movement on troubles inclusive of change, human rights, and overseas policies. It has additionally been accusing USA of trying to comprise its upward thrust and undermining its sovereignty. Both international locations have competing hobbies and affect numerous worldwide agencies and alliances. The United States has been a chief participant in agencies inclusive of the United Nations, NATO, and the World Trade Organization, and at the same time, China has been investing closely in agencies inclusive of Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the Belt and Road Initiative. In addition, each international location was undertaking diplomatic efforts to construct and fortify relationships with different international locations to advantage allies and exert extra effect on the worldwide stage. Both international locations interact in consistent conflict for effect and electricity on the worldwide stage. Finally, we have the cultural competition. The cultural competition between America and China has been any other location of anxiety of their dating. Both international locations have been competing for worldwide impact through their cultural exports and smooth power. The United States, as its main cultural superpower, has had a good-sized impact on the arena through its movies, tune, and TV shows. American cultural exports, which include Hollywood movies and famous tunes, have studied worldwide attain and appeal. The American way of life is extensively visible and synonymous with freedom, democracy, and innovation. China, on the alternative hand, has been running to sell its cultural exports to construct its smooth power. The China authorities has been investing closely to cultural tasks, which include Belt and Road Initiative, which ambitions to sell China's way of life and language abroad. China has additionally been selling its cultural background and conventional values, which include Confucianism, Taoism, to enforce its cultural identification and appeal. Both international locations have additionally been competing for impact through the training and tourism ties. The United States has been a famous vacation spot for worldwide college students, while China has been investing in its personal better training gadgets to draw greater college students from around the arena. In addition, each international location has been running to give a wonderful photographs for themselves to the arena. The United States has been selling its democracy, freedom, and human rights, while China has been emphasizing on its financial development, stability, and cultural background. Overall, the cultural competition between the United States and China is complicated and multifaceted issue, with each international location running to sell its cultural exports and smoother power. It stays a good-sized supply of anxiety within the US-China dating and key thing in shaping the destiny of world cultural impact. In conclusion, the financial competition has been fashioned with the aid of using exchange tensions and tariffs, with each international location competing for dominance in key industries which include generation and manufacturing. The Navy competition has been characterized by aid of using hand-in-raised territorial disputes, with each international location growing its protection spending and modernizing its Navy capabilities. The diplomatic competition has been marked with the aid of using tension over troubles which include human rights and worldwide order, with each international location accusing every different of undermining those principles. Cultural competition has been fashioned with the aid of using competition of the worldwide impact through cultural exports and smooth power. The future outlook of the competition between America and China is uncertain. The economic competition will possibly stay a main supplier of anxiety, with each international location competing for dominance in key industries and exchange. The Navy competition is likewise possible to continue, with each international locations making an investment closely to superior technology and growing their Navy presence within the region. The diplomatic competition is likewise possible to persist, with each international locations competing for impact in worldwide companies and alliances. It's essential to be aware that the competition between America and China is now no longer must be a zero-sum game, and each international location can gain from cooperation in regions that includes exchange and weather change. However, it's also essential for each international location to cope with the assets of anxiety and competition constructively and peacefully. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, bye bye.